Hi, this is Ike from Groovy Entertainment. Today we're going to book to read for you. Today, book of the Berenstain Bears, long, long ago, from 2017. So let's get started. Brother, sister, and honey would plain bury each other. Dig here, said sister. We'll soon be rich beyond our wildest dreams. They dug away. Clunk went the shovel. We found something, said the cubs. Bury each other. They dug it up, but it turned out to be just an old toy truck. Hey, said brother, surprised. This is mine. I lost it a long time ago. The cubs dug some more. Clunk went the shovel. More treasure, said sister. It turned out to be an old plastic bow. Mama must have lost this on a backyard picnic, said brother. They dug some more. Clink went the shovel. It was a rusty old hammer. Papa must have dropped it when he was fixing something, said brother. The cubs showed their finds to Mama and Papa. Very interested, said Papa. I was reading in the newspaper that Professor Actoro Factoro is digging up things from the past near his museum. The cubs was curious. Can we go and see, they asked. Mama and Papa was happy to take the cubs to the museum. When they arrived, they saw the professor and his helper digging in the earth nearby. Hello, bear family, said the professor. Have you come to see what we are up to? Yes, professor, said Mama, explained about the cubs. Backyard finds. We are doing pretty much the same thing here, said the professor, but we are digging deeper and finding things that are a bit older. We have a display in the museum to show what life was like in the bear country when things you are finding here was brand new. Come along and I'll show you. The museum was full of interesting things. There were dinosaur fossils, antique cars, native bear totem poles, precious jewels, and minerals. In case of brightly colored butterflies, they soon came to the Hall of History. This display showed what life was like in bear country about 100 years ago. There was a statue of bears in an old-fashioned room. They wore funny clothes. They sat on funny old furniture. There was old-fashioned phones, record players, and lamps. Wouldn't it be fun if we could go back in time and really visit the past, said sister. Said the professor. I have something that may interest you. Follow me. Puzzle the Bear family followed along. The professor led them up a spiral staircase to his lab. At the top of the museum tower, there he showed them a strange-looking machine. What is it? Asked Papa. It's my anytime, any year machine, he said. With it, I can travel through time. We can use it to learn about the past. That's amazing, said sister. Yes, isn't it? Agreed the professor. Now come along, all aboard. Is it safe? Agreed Mama. Perfectly, said the professor. Hold tight. He pulled a lever. The room whizzed and soared. They felt dizzy. When the whirling stopped, they were on a bank of a brown river. Welcome to the ancient Egypt, said the professor. We are on the banks of the river Nile in the northeast of Africa. Here the Egyptians made great buildings and statues of stones. The biggest of all was the pyramids, the tombs of the pharaohs, who was kings of Egypt. When they died, their body was wrapped in cloth and placed inside the pyramids. Their cloth-wrapped bodies are called mummies. Creepy, said Papa. The professor pulled the lever again. They found themselves on the deck of a sailing ship. To the north of Egypt, across the seas, said the professor, lay the land of ancient Greece. The Greeks was great sailors. Their ship called galleries was powered by oars as well as sails. Eyes were painted on the ship's prow. Maybe they thought this would help the ship see its way through the fog and darkness. Their next hop through time took them to a crowded stadium. Greek, Egypt, and many other land was conquered by Rome, explained the professor. This city in the city in Italy began the center of a great empire. The Romans, but the Romans was famous soldiers. They loved fighting so much they made a game of it. Slaves called gladiators were forced to fight to the death before cheering crowd in the Colosseum. The Roman Empire lasted a long time, the professor continued, but it was finally destroyed by the barbarians. Warrior tribes from the north, the terrible times had been called the Dark Ages. Europe was broken up in many small countries, said the professor. These little kingdoms fought amongst themselves. Rulers lived in the strong castle. Knights in armor rode forth to battle. It was a time of almost constant warfare, the Middle Ages. Many years, wait, after many years, the learning of the ancient times was rediscovered, said the professor. This time of change was called the Renaissance, a rebirth. The biggest change was in art. Artists began to create paintings that looked like real world around them. Soon ships sailed across the sea and reached the Americas. The professor went on. No one in Europe knew about this vast new world. Before long, settlers arrived amongst them with the pilgrims from England. They called the native tribe who lived there Indians and needed their help to hunt wild turkeys and plant corn. After the first harvest, the Indians joined the pilgrims in a feast, the very first Thanksgiving. But the settler of America grew unhappy with England's rules, the professor explained. They decided to break away and start a new country, the United States of America. A war began between two sides. George Washington was the leader of America's armies. They fought against the redcoats, the English soldiers. When the war was won, Washington became the new country's first president. While the bear watched, redcoats fired their guns and bullets whizzed over their heads. We better get out of here, said Papa. The professor pulled the lever of the time machine, and with a whoosh and a sword, they began back in their own time. Well, said the professor, you have learned about the past from ancient time to the birth of our own country, the USA. Does this give you any idea about digging up things from the past? It sure does, cried the cubs. We are going to dig up our whole backyard. Thanks for showing us what it's like a long, long ago. So that was the Berenstain Bears long, long ago from 2017. So if you like, subscribe, share, and comment, have a groovy day with another video coming out real soon.